Have you ever wondered why some fashion brands are able to charge premium prices and still sell out, while others keep struggling, barely covering costs? The truth is, pricing can make or break your clothing line. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step formula on how to price your clothing line for maximum profits without scaring customers away. By the end of this session, you will not only understand how to calculate your prices, but also how to position your brand so customers happily pay what you charge. So grab your notebook because this is not just another pricing video, this is a fashion business masterclass. My name is Arjuna. Let's get started. Let me ask you a simple question. If you walk into a boutique and see two identical dresses, one priced at 5,000 naira and the other at 50,000 naira, which one do you think is more valuable? Most people would automatically assume the 50,000 naira dress has higher quality, even if it's the same exact fabric and design. That right there is the power of pricing. In fashion, people don't just buy clothes, they buy perception. The price tag is not just a number, it's a statement. It tells your customer how valuable your product is. When you price too low, customers immediately assume it's low quality, even if your work is amazing. And sadly, in fashion, perception often matters more than reality. Now, let's talk about money. You can be the best designer in the world, but if your pricing doesn't cover your costs and leave room for profit, your business will definitely struggle. Here is a simple example. If you sell a dress for 10,000 naira, but your cost of production is 8,000 naira, you're left with just 2,000 naira profit. But if you price that same dress at 20,000 naira and your cost is still 8,000 naira, now you're making 12,000 naira profit per dress, which means instead of working day and night sewing 20 dresses to make just 40,000 naira profit, you could sew just 5 dresses and make 60,000 naira profit. That is the power of pricing. Now, another reason why pricing matters is because your price determines who you attract. If you price cheap, you mostly attract bargain hunters, and bargain hunters are usually the hardest customers to please because they want the word at the lowest cost. But when you set premium prices, you attract clients who value quality, who are willing to pay for craftsmanship, and they will respect your business. So ask yourself, do you want clients who haggle endlessly, undervalue your work, or do you want clients who see your work as an investment and treat you like a professional? Fashion is not just about today, it's about building a sustainable brand. If your pricing is too low, you'll always struggle with buying good quality fabrics, hiring skilled workers, and expanding your business. But when you price right, you can reinvest into your brand with better machines and physical store marketing campaigns and even trainings. So pricing is not just about survival, it's about creating a strong foundation for growth. Now let's talk about price psychology. Pricing also plays with human psychology. For example, a 4,900 naira tag feels cheaper than 5,000 naira tag. Another example of price psychology is creating urgency by including limited edition to your sales. Now, higher prices often create exclusivity, and exclusivity increases demand. That's why luxury fashion brands rarely go on sale. If everything is always discounted, customers start to believe it was never worth the full price in the first place. As a fashion entrepreneur, your pricing should not only cover costs but also position your product exactly where you want it to be in the market. Let me give you some real world scenarios. A tailor charging 5,000 naira per dress might be struggling with endless work, no rest, and little savings. Meanwhile, another tailor charging 50,000 naira per dress might be making more money, working less, and building a luxury brand. The difference is pricing. Another example is Zara and Dior. Both are fashion brands, but their pricing communicates completely different value system. Zara attracts the everyday fashion lovers who want trends at affordable prices. Dior attracts people who wants to pay for exclusivity and luxury. So your brand must decide where to stand, and pricing will make that very clear. So how do you actually set the right price? Formula number one, know your cost. Now let me break down the types of costs you must track in your fashion business. Number one is your direct costs, which are costs directly tied to making one dress, like fabric, thread, zipper, buttons, lining, labels, packaging, and all of that. The next cost is the labor cost, which is your time, and time is money. So if it takes you 5 hours to sew a dress, Put a value on those 5 hours. Even if you don't pay yourself now, in the future you'll hire people and they must be paid. Now another cost is overhead costs, which are the hidden costs people always forget. They are the rent, that is your shop rent, electricity, sewing machine maintenance, internet, data for running your business, then marketing and delivery fees. Another one is the growth cost, which is money meant for investment. So things like buying a new sewing machine, investing in trainings or creating a website, all these are reinvestment. So if you only count fabric and thread, you're cheating yourself. That's why so many tailors stay broke. They are not counting the real cost. Let's do a practical example. Imagine you're making a party dress. The fabric costs 7,000 naira. Zipper plus thread plus lining is 1,500 naira. Packaging is 500 naira. Labor is 6 hours, which is 6,000 naira, assuming 1,000 per hour. Overhead share like rent is 2,000 naira. Total cost will now be 17,000 naira. Now, if you sell that dress for 18,000 naira, guess what? You just made 1,000 naira profit, and that is not enough to cover emergencies. But if you know your cost, you can set a proper selling price. That is how smart fashion businesses survive. Now, after knowing your cost, the next thing is to add your profit margin. This is where most fashion business owners fail because they don't decide a clear profit margin. Now, profit margin simply means the percentage of profit you want to make on top of your costs. For example, if you choose 30% profit margin, it means for every 100 naira you spend, you want to earn 30 naira as profit. If you choose 50%, it means you want to earn 50 naira profit for every 100 naira you spend. Now, your profit margin depends on your market, your brand positioning, and the value of your designs. Now, luxury brands go as high as 200% profit margin. One mistake that you can make as a fashion brand is adding profit randomly, sometimes 10%, sometimes 40%, depending on your mood. That alone will confuse your customers and it will kill your business growth. Decide on a standard profit margin range and stick to it. For example, 30% for casual wears and 50% for luxury wears. Customers don't buy based on your cost price, they buy based on the value they see. If your designs are unique, your finishing is clean, and your customer service is strong, you can confidently add your desired profit margin without fear of losing your clients. Formula number 2 is competitor research. Think of it like this: when you walk into a market, you automatically compare prices between two shops, right? Customers do the same thing online and offline. They already have a range of prices in their head based on what they've seen from other brands. So if your competitors are selling dresses between 15,000 naira and 25,000 naira, for example, and you suddenly price yours at 8,000 naira, customers won't think it's a bargain. They will think something is wrong with your quality. And if you price it at 50,000 without a strong brand authority to back it up, they will walk away. Now, competitor research helps you position your price inside the market's range while still highlighting your unique value. Now, remember that not every fashion brand is your competitor. If you're making ready-to-wear casuals, your competitor are those other brands in the exact same space, not luxury designers charging $1,000 per dress. If you're making kidswear, don't look at adult wear brands. Study what other kidswear brands are charging. Here is a quick tip. Make a list of at least 5 to 10 brands that sell similar designs, target the same audience, and operate in the same market level as you, whether it's budget, mid-range, or premium. This way, you're comparing apples to apples, not apples to pineapples. Now that you have your competitor prices, the next step is to analyze them. Ask yourself, what makes the higher priced product more expensive? Is it the branding, the fabric quality, or their packaging? What makes the lower priced ones cheaper? Are they using less durable fabric, or do they have less finishing? Then check where your clothing line falls in terms of quality, uniqueness, and brand positioning. For example, if your finishing and customer service are way better than the mid-range brands, you can comfortably charge closer to the upper mid-range price. Remember, the goal is not to copy your competitor prices, but to understand the pricing landscape so you can position yourself confidently. Here's the simple truth: competitor research doesn't set your price for you, your costs do. You always start with your cost of production and then desired profit margin follows. But competitor research tells you if your target price is realistic in the current market. So before you finalize any price in your clothing line, always do your competitor research. It will save you from undercharging, overpricing, and then losing customers unnecessarily. Formula number 3 is wholesale and retail pricing. Let's start with wholesale pricing. Wholesale is when you sell your products in bulk, usually at a lower price per unit, but you make your money from the volume of sales. For example, if you sew a kid dress and it costs you $10 to produce, you might sell it at wholesale for $15 to boutiques or resellers who would buy 50 to 100 pieces at once. The key point here is that you're not focused on profits per single item, you're focused on moving larger quantities quickly. Now, let's look at retail pricing. Retail pricing is when you sell directly to the final consumer, the customer who will actually wear the outfit. So using the same example, if your dress costs $10 to make, instead of selling wholesale at $15 for one piece, you may sell retail for $30 or even $40 depending on your brand value. The key point here is that you're focused on maximum profit per single item. So the big question is wholesale or retail, which one is right for your business? If you're just starting out and you want quick sales with less stress about marketing, wholesale may be the way to go. But if you want to build a strong brand, command higher prices, and enjoy bigger margins, retail is for you. And here is a pro tip for you. The best fashion entrepreneurs combine both. They sell wholesale to boutiques for cash flow while also retailing on Instagram or on their online store or their offline show as well for higher profits. Pricing is not just about numbers, it's about building a sustainable fashion brand that pays you what you truly deserve. If you found this video very helpful, smash that like button, subscribe to Fashion Finance, and share this with a friend who is starting a clothing line. My name is Ajlan, and I'll see you all in my next